Okay, hello, Glitch Reaper here.
Hello.
I'm here with Masa on his testing server. Uh, I can see you were testing something recently.
Uh, which one?
You were testing out some dynamics with the energy bridge over here.
Oh yeah, I added a config for the bedrock type because apparently in some mod packs they are using custom bedrock, so
Oh,
they weren't able to activate the energy bridge at all because they had some other block representing bedrock.
okay. Well, this is straight up bedrock, so you're just trying to tell it like whether or not to use like bedrock or say configure it for like sandstone if that was the bottom of the world or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't remember about the config has at the moment, but I was just testing that it works.
yeah, cause I could totally see how that'd be a problem. Cause I've seen just like not just when it comes to like mod packs that have it like set up like a special super flat, but I'm thinking like dimensions that have something different on the bottom.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
I could see how this would be something you'd need a little diversity for.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that some dimensions are using different bedrock, but it
Yeah.
was something called bedrock beacon.
Oh yeah, I've seen that mod on Curse. Apparently some people just don't like the bedrock when it's there, so you're going, it's a problem because this needs bedrock.
Yeah.
That and of course there's some that have like again something different at the bottom of the world. Like I whenever I was doing Solitary Craft Plus, there is kind of like a custom dimension in there that's pretty cool, and it has like these boxes that you can be inside, and each of them's like a cage of what's essentially barrier blocks. And it gives you a good amount of space, but at the same time, that means that up and down you have these transparent, invincible blocks, but no bedrock anywhere. Like you can see all the way up and down the dimension through the transparency and out into the background. So if you wanted to have like an energy bridge there, then you obviously wouldn't be able to have like bedrock because there's no bedrock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could totally see why this became a thing. Meanwhile, something that may or may not wind up on a blooper reel got fixed.
Yeah.
Oh, we had some antics last time we tried this. It was kind of a bit funny. Okay, well the main thing we're trying to do here is show off the Wand of the Lazy Builder, which I actually renamed Best Wand Ever because it is hilariously cool. I mean, seriously, this is like the best building tool I've ever seen, and this is what we're supposed to be focusing on. I see this is where I left it last, because as that all outlined. Yeah, that's totally on me. But as you can see, whenever it's outlining things, this building tool is meant to kind of act on, I guess you could say, internal templates.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, kind of. It's more of a sort of. But if you have the right blocks, you can do a lot of things with this, like copy and pasting things, extending lines, extending exact structures. Like over here, we have this crazy iron and gold block statue, and there's a way using the One of the Lazy Builder to extend that. First, I'll show off how you actually make this thing. It's supposed to be a couple of enhanced ender alloys, well, advanced actually. So it's a couple of advanced ender alloys and an advanced ender core. Activated, might I add, not inactive. So that means you'll definitely need to have a trip to the end. Otherwise, it's not happening. But seeing how much you can do with this, I'd say it's a good reason to call it the N-tier building wand. Because it literally tries doing pretty much everything you can imagine on a building tool. So would you like to go over some of the various functions of this awesome wand?
Well, if we can start from the first mode, which is the extend continuous. So basically, this mode will try to extend blocks like on the backside of the one that you click or anchor the main position on. So it will search for continuous paths of blocks and basically mark any blocks in front of those for building.
Yes, and all these are worked with mode changes, as well as like different combinations of the buttons on the keybinds. So you got to keep that in mind. Like, there's this absolute wall of text in its incoming instruction manual. So yeah, so
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. Okay, so the shift scroll. Nope, nope. Toggle. Okay, I need to recheck my keybinds. It's been a while. Okay. Controls. What do I got set for inter utilities mode change? Okay, that's activated. Okay, I got toggle mode as V. Okay. Okay. You gotta hold shift and no? Is it control V? Yeah, it's control and mode shift does the various mode changes. So there we go. I'm trying to cycle this to the basic one. Okay, extend continuous would be this mode here. You can also set to now in creative it doesn't use blocks, but if you were doing this in survival, then that's a whole other story. And you can also kind of use scroll wheel to extend your directions in certain ways, or something like that.
Sneak and scroll.
Sneak and scroll. Okay, I need to do this down a bit. Yeah, so you can watch where the outlines are actually moving whenever you sneak and scroll. You can also like kind of withdraw it that way as well. You kind of have to be kind of close to the selected area to kind of line it up with it.
It's just sensitive to the looking direction.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be a bit tricky to get the vertical direction versus the horizontal ones.
Yeah. By the way, I'm hearing you particularly good today for some reason. That's nice.
Okay. Well, it's a different computer from the last time because I'm visiting home.
Okay, well somehow either
So,
way the mic is working better. That's all I'm definitely saying here.
yeah, my microphone levels might be all over the place.
And once you've got the area selected, you just hit use click and it just keeps extending from there. Again, normally this would take blocks in survival, so special note there. I'm trying to remember the undo. Isn't it just like shift and that, or?
There is no undo at the moment.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You have to kind of go into delete mode to get rid of that. But
I
anyhow,
undo from the command, not the structure block. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you use delete mode and got rid of that. So poof. Yeah, it has many modes, including a delete mode. Although is the delete mode creative only, or would it return blocks to you in survival? Okay. Okay. So that's just
creative only. You can't even activate it. Even if you leave it in the delete mode and try to use it in survival, it won't work.
Aha, so you got a safety latch on it. It's like just going nope. But
yeah, because it will just straight up delete everything. It doesn't even give you the items back, so it's a creative only.
Okay, so it's basically like the Ender Dragon just erasing things. It's like, oh, we're just turning this to air. And that's basically the first mode. That it just extends whatever structure you've got it kind of selected over. Like in this case, he's got it selecting everything at once.
Yeah, so this extend mode has a couple of important options. So the first one, which is the less important one, is the allow diagonals. So it just says if it can skip like a diagonal gap or if it needs adjacent blocks.
Yeah, so note how it says allow diagonals on mine and it says no. That's because that's not toggled right now. But
so to toggle that, it's Control Alt and the toggle key.
Okay, Control Alt and mode change. There we go. So now it would be saying yes. So if you don't have that on, then whenever you've got an area selected, like say here, then and the block extends diagonally, it wouldn't register it. As long as you're saying yes, then it will follow that line in terms of tracking a structure to see at what point it needs to extend. and it'll kind of keep doing that until you find the farthest point. But again, you can extend and withdraw it by using shift and like your scroll wheel. So again, if I were to wait a moment, it's not doing it that way. There we go. Okay, there we go. Tech click. So okay, shift and yep. So yeah. So again, that's how that part works. So we can go on to another mode if you'd like.
Well, the second and kind of more important thing about the extend mode is the block selection, which happens with Alt and scroll. So
Okay.
there you can have 16 like pre-bound blocks that you basically bind by sneak and left clicking.
Okay.
And then there are the two special modes. So basically, kind of on the negative side, if you scroll down from 1. So you have the targeted and the adjacent.
Yeah, and so, as I was going to point out here, this thing does take link modules. So and it does take power in survival as well. So you need an intercapacitor for that. So whenever you have it preset, it's preset to the block type you'll be using. Like, oh, say if you had used that link on a sandstone block, then it would be set to put sandstone block in that place rather than something from the inventory. Well, it would be from the inventory. It's just it would have it already preset for material. Like for example, what he's doing now, he's taking it with sandstone, and it's got a kind of a preset mode that way. It can also in creative you can just select blocks with it and say I'm using this. Like for example, if I were to tap that right now, it's saying sandstone. So right now I can extend it with sandstone because I selected the block, but I did that in creative. Normally you'd have to use one of the link crystals to set the material that you're going to be extending the structure from. So you're kind of specifying that way as to what you're using.
Actually, the link crystals are only used for if you want to use items from an inventory.
Okay, so
the block types are directly stored in the wand.
Okay, so block types are by wand. The inventory that you're using is like if you were having it bound to a chest and you're using the block link crystal that way, and then you're taking it from the chest instead of your inventory, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that way you can draw on a
the link
distant
crystals
block.
are only for the build materials, like the items to use.
Okay, so it's mainly for if you're harvesting power from a distant block, like you got some sort of material generator and you're trying to use it continuously for a build. I can totally see that being really useful because I know some blocks that just can continuously generate items and just shove them into another block. So you'd basically be able to have unlimited blocks to work with. So that would be useful.
So one more thing is the preview rendering, and that's toggled by Alt Shift and toggle key.
Like for example, right now I'm moving through what's basically ghost blocks. Like these are just previewing how it looks. They're not technically here yet.
So now if I change my block type binding, it will show the different things that I have bound. And now I'm going to the targeted. So that means basically whatever is behind the red box, so behind the targeted position.
Yeah, so it's copying whatever.
The special mode is the adjacent. This one uses for every position, whatever is behind that position, instead of the main position, which is the targeted.
Okay, so it's basically trying to say, I'm selected on this block here, and I'm going to place whatever block I've got right behind it here. So that's the reason why it's previewing iron blocks. Is it saying, okay, that's the material this thing right here is made out of, so I'm going to use that if I can find any.
And also, another thing is the targeted mode is basically similar to the traditional builder's ones. So this one actually only extends the targeted block type. So it doesn't extend whenever there is like code or these blanks here.
Okay. This kind of looks a little interesting whenever you have the ghost block that you have from just having a targeted area, and you have it visually overlaying the ghost blocks from the preview. It kind of,
Yeah, there seem to be some rendering issues. I need to look into that.
I think it has something to do with the transparency because they're both technically transparent blocks at the time, and they're both essentially incorporeal. So I mean, this block is not a block. It doesn't really exist. And neither does the ones that's previewed. They're all ghost blocks. So I think the visual between seeing them, and it seems to only work with the. Okay, it looks fine now. It seems to mainly be a rendering issue whenever you have preview blocks. Like from my perspective,
Yeah,
yeah, like, and it is only like exactly where you're looking. Like right now, I can see the red lines against the sandstone on the other side, but whenever I look through them into the preview area, it kind of blends together in an odd way. It almost looks like it's going through the preview blocks, but it's not because this is the way it looks. It totally throws off your perspective because it makes it look like it's blending with one set and not with the other. So it's like, okay.
basically I'm quite bad at rendering stuff, and this is old rendering code, so I need to go and fix it at some point.
You know what's really weird? It seems to do that more for the one that I have here than the one that you've got in the main area that's extending them in the first place for the preview. Like this one over here, it's doing the rendering thing with. This one over here, it's perfectly fine whenever you're doing the preview. So
Okay.
I guess it has to do with the fact that this one's from another location. Yeah. Oh yeah, I need to clear that block. No, that's not it. I'm trying to remember how I clear a targeted area.
You just have to left click somewhere else.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's not my targeted area. Okay, this isn't my block. I think this is your block from a previous thing.
That's your current selection.
Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to clear that, but it's
You just have to left click somewhere else.
okay. Let me. Okay, so it's just relocating it, but the fact is I still have one. Okay, so mine does the thing whenever you've got one selected and are doing preview. So it seems to be more of a multiplayer thing. Okay. Well, shall we move on to a different function then?
Okay.
Whoa, kind of went out.
The next mode would be area, but
Whoa.
instead of continuous paths from the targeted position, it has a maximum area size.
Okay. Okay.
So,
It
so
multi-selected.
this one is actually better demonstrated here.
Had a little lag for a while and things got a little weird for a second, but it seems to be back fine. Okay, now I got it at extend area. And this is where it does it an area at a time. You can see over here that he's got this area selected.
So the extend area has a maximum area size within which it will extend stuff.
Okay.
So that's the current size that I have it set to. So if I now put it in here, it would extend like any blocks within that maximum area size that are
Okay.
kind of behind the current targeted plane.
Okay. So
it doesn't need like a continuous path from here. It just works for anything that is behind those positions.
okay, so it's just occupying the area of anything that needs to be extended within that maximum plane size.
Yeah.
Then it'll extend upward from there, or sideways, depending on which way you got it. So you can see previously, whenever he selected like this, and it was a big horizontal plane. That's more the partial 3D mode. But in this case, that plane's intersecting with this area, so it's the area that would actually get extended. So if I were to click here, I have it set for sandstone. Ding! Yeah, normally that would take blocks of power. Now I can also extend the area up this way if I do this. Wrong thing. I needed to... Okay, wrong one. You go there. Darn, come on. I'm having technical issues, but I'll be there. Okay. Place area new. I think it got a little off track on this. Extend area. Okay, that's what I was after. Okay. Nope. Not going that way. Well, either way, it does it basically one plane
If
at a
you're
time.
trying to extend the side here, you need to actually place the selection on the side because it's like facing sensitive.
Okay.
So the block face that you click on is important for the maximum area size and so on.
Okay, so if I put it over here... Okay, now it's doing this whole wall this way because I clicked it on the side. Okay, so it does it that way. In this case, I was clicking on the middle, so it extended up because I was clicking on the top. So if you need a whole, like, ceiling, this is... Or extended floor, this is very useful.
And also, you seem to have the move option disabled at the moment, so if you hit shift and the toggle key, you can toggle the move option, which means that the selected position will move after each field operation.
Okay, so you can basically move it up as a plane, or down whenever you did it, basically. Or, for that matter, sideways as one whole unit area.
Yeah, so the selected position will move after each operation if you have the move option enabled.
Okay, let me see here. So let me see. Shift toggle. Yeah. Okay, now I have it on move. Okay, so now it's automatically popping one up each time. And the same would be said if I did it here. Normally this would require a lot of blocks. Just trying to unite these two. Aha, there we go. So this is an easy way to get one bigger structure. So that's extending by area. Also some other options like area flipping and continue through and whether or not things are replaced. Obviously, if you replace blocks, it kind of mauls over anything that's already there that happens to be in the same plane. So that could be useful if you were like clearing grass or something. You say
the continue through option was how should I demonstrate it? It's basically it will go through blocks if you are like in like
okay,
labyrinth thing. So
okay, so let's see a demonstration of this one to see how this works.
So at the moment I have continue through disabled, and if I enable it, how do I enable it?
There you go.
Control toggle. So now it will basically go through any blocks. So it will go to the maximum area size even if it doesn't have a like free path like this.
Okay, so it just ignores a barrier in the way, basically, in terms of doing it. And just goes right past that, going, you know, I know there's some blocks in the way, but I also know there's some past this that I can extend. So it does it that way.
Actually, I don't even remember what the replace does. Does it actually replace all the blocks?
There was no
I don't
replacing.
remember.
Okay, so not sure the replace on that one. I know there's a replace thing later that's basically a block swap.
Or toggle the replace.
Okay.
Alt and toggle.
Let me. Okay, I got an idea. I got an idea. Okay, I'm gonna toss some of these blocks away here. I'm going to grab. Okay, I'm gonna grab some grass block and some decorative grass. Let's see. Can you replace? Okay, here's the test. Have replace mode on, and and see if it will replace at least like small transparent or non-solid blocks like this. Like, see if it will replace the grass. Aha! That's what it does.
Yeah.
Okay, now see if you have that off, if it doesn't replace the grass. So I think you had it where originally it was just replacing blocks that were normally considered replaceable. Like,
Yeah.
like grass block is normally considered replaceable.
Yeah.
Okay, so have replace mode off and see if it like goes around the grass. Okay, that's what it was. That's what it was. This is simply whether or not it replaces something that's normally designated as replaceable. That was what it was. Okay, so we've solved what that one was originally. Okay.
Oh yeah, I think I probably added that for fluids, so that you can actually replace stuff in like water or lava.
Yeah, because that's also a designation of replacement is when it comes to fluids. But they have like that as a general tag between like blocks like grass block and grass and things like darn lips and things like lava. So yeah, it's like whatever's replaceable is just replaceable. Whatever's not is just not in Minecraft. So yeah, so that toggles just
Actually,
whether or not you ignore that or not.
yeah, there's actually one extremely annoying thing about that replace flag of stuff, because some blocks that say that they cannot be replaced, whereas their material says that they can. That's currently causing issues for one of my other mods.
Okay, I can see how
So,
that would be a conflict. Okay.
there are inconsistent code paths that some parts of the code check one or the other and they behave differently, so that's causing issues in one of my client-side mods.
Aha. So it's like whether or not it really designates it as replaceable or not, and it checks, and then it causes problems.
Yeah, that's actually for fluids especially.
Okay. So it's more for fluid type stuff than other things. Okay, so that basically the extend area mode.
Yeah. Then the next ones are kind of simpler build modes. So for example, the column mode just simply builds blocks in one column.
Yeah. So if I were to go here, and let's see if I can extend this upward. Yep. See, I'm holding sneak and looking in the direction I want to extend it, and using scroll wheel to extend and unextend. If you kind of roll forward, it goes in the direction. If you kind of roll backwards, it withdraws. So that's how that part works. And you can't do it in a direction that you haven't got designated for. Like I've done it on the top, so that's considered like vertical only. If I were to, okay, let's put this on the side here to show this better. I've done this on the side, so if I do it this way, I'll extend this way. But if I were to, oh, say, put a block there or use an existing block as a targeting, like let's say I replace one block here with air, I do this kind of, let's see if I can angle this right, because I want to do it this way. Okay, now, can I do this up and down? Nope, it's on the side, so it's only doing it sideways.
The column mode is always straight away from the block face to click on.
Okay, so it's always...
There are, however, the area flipped. The area flipped option, so you can flip basically the axis.
Okay, so now I got it selected this way, and I did it on the bottom, so it should be able to go up and down. Okay, so it's going out that way, so I have to do it from here.
Won't ever go.
Okay, you gotta do it from the place you
side.
originally did it. So
it only goes straight up to the front side.
okay, it's not withdrawing from here. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I just had it going really deep. It only does it from the direction you originally had it kind of facing outward from. So because I put it on the bottom, it can only go up and down from the bottom area below here. So if I do it this way, do it that way, and see. Okay, there we go. So that's the column for you. Need to. Nope. Needed to set that for. Okay, needed to. Ahem. I think it's there. There we go. Now I got it set for block of iron. You needed to sneak click that one just right. There we go. Got those replaced back. So column mode will always only operate on extend from the way away from the block face you started it with. So if I put that here, and then go a few down. There we go. Column. So columns are always based on your facing. Oh, we got that one all. Okay, and it's keeping the settings as to exactly how long I had it extended, even if it was originally facing a different direction, which is interesting. It's keeping basically the length unit and just going with it. So if I wanted to extend it this way, like bridge over that way, then I'd do it that way, and that's with relationship to that point. If I were to create a new column here, it's already that long, and now going that way. So now I've basically given it an extra elbow. Okay, so that's basically column in a nutshell.
Yep. So the next one is line, which is very similar to column, except it goes sideways and both ways, not like two ways.
Okay, so control mode change, we have line. And line can go two directions at once from the point you have designated. So you can see here he's got it selected, this block, and it's going left and right from it. So column extends only from one direction at a time from the selected area. Line does too. So it's good for placing like whole lines of materials. Like for example, these over here is basically what happens when you select line.
And also the line mode you can flip with just the toggle key and looking in a direction. You can flip the basically the axis that does stuff.
But yeah, it does it from the sides rather than from the facing in terms of how you placed it. So you do it this way, it kind of goes a couple of directions at once. Well, actually, this one's just going out, so this one's just doing a column thing.
You have to also extend the other side.
Okay, let me see here. Area flew. Continue through. Okay, so. Okay, so yeah, you can just extend it both ways. You just gotta do that part manually. So now I have it set for two areas made out of iron block, and now it's made a line. So now I just have a line of iron block on top of the other iron. Okay, let's just... I need to rotate this.
If you want to rotate, you have to look down and press the toggle key. That flips the axis.
Okay. Flip. Okay. Look down, toggled, because I wanted it to be about this long.
So basically the flip stuff, like it rotates the maximum area around the axis that you are looking towards. So in this case, if you are looking down and flipping the area, it will rotate 90 degrees around the y-axis.
Okay. Down. There we go. There we go. Now I got it moving and doing the line the area I wanted to. Just takes a little adjustment before you do that. So now I have a wall of iron. You just had to get it to do the move option again.
Yeah, there are many options that you have to kind of get used to or memorize the keys.
Yeah, it's a very complicated and powerful singular item. I mean, seriously, you're holding the power of all sorts of building in your hand. So it's like ridiculous amount of things, but it's also a ridiculous amount of stuff to memorize or even put a manual for. Again, wall of text whenever you get the initial item.
I have tried to make them as consistent as possible, but of course the different modes have a little bit of different options for them, so
yeah,
they are not exactly the same for every mode.
Yeah, so this one kind of built up to that over time with all the different modes that you inserted, right? Just kind of, yeah, just kind of kept adding on. It's like, hey, I just want my building wall to do this too. And it just kept on going from there.
So the next mode is just plain mode. It's kind of self-explanatory. It just does a plane.
Yeah, just one big plane of whatever you've got it done. So if I were to slap that here, no, block. Okay. Okay, let me see here. I needed to extend that a bit. Okay. You go there. You... Just one big plane at a time. There we go. So that's how you get a much faster wall of iron. That's pretty explanatory right there as to what it does. You extend one way, extend the other way, you're good. You just designate an area.
And the next mode that actually has been implemented would be the walls mode.
Okay, so let me switch to... Okay, that's next mode is circle, that's not complete. Okay, now we have walls. Okay, so
walls is basically just a hollow cube. So it just builds the walls for it.
I think the parrot's in the way. No, he's just below it, he's good. But this one you have to designate 2 points as he has here, because it does it by corners, then makes a hollowed out cube, as he said. Like, here's an example done earlier, actually. So, let me see here. I know I designate one corner with... Okay, I might need to flip that.
Left click for the primary or the red position and right click for the secondary corner.
Okay, so left click one, right click the other. Okay, so I got that there. So let me see if I do this right here.
And you can move the secondary corner with sneak and scrolling while looking in a direction.
Okay, but right now I'm just going to try to okay, I'm going to put that there, then I'm going to put the secondary spot, say here. Okay, now we got the area. And if I do this, Oh wait, I think I have to hold this for a second. There we go. Some of these you have to hold it for a second before it actually works. To give it a
Yeah,
little charge time.
all of the remaining modes that have two corners, you have to hold for 2 seconds
Okay.
while
And as you can
right-clicking air. Then
see, the
release.
inside is completely hollow. So this is really good for making a very fast building. You just gotta have a ton of blocks. So that's walls mode. It just gives you a building with walls.
Yep, and the next one is cube, which is just a solid cube.
So pretty much the same thing, except it's solid all the way through. Hello, it's the world's richest cube. Okay. Okay. And the obligatory iron version. Note, might build upward like a 3D printer. It's amazing how much those have come along these days compared with where they were just a while ago.
Yeah.
I know somebody who actually used to work with the earliest versions where it was still referred to as a rapid prototyper.
Yeah.
But you could call them different things and know it's the same thing. But still, that acts basically like a 3D printer for using one block type into one giant cube. So
Yep.
that's pretty much what it does. Okay, and the next mode is replace.
Replace.
This.
So the replace has two modes. It has the single and the area mode, and you can switch between them with the toggle key.
Okay. But yeah, this is where things get a little bit interesting because you can actually replace blocks with other blocks. It will. Now this operates a little differently between creative and survival again, because in creative it replaces the block without giving anything back. It just kind of transmutes it. But in survival, it would actually break the block and give it back to you. So there's very little limit as to exactly what it can swap, except that it won't do like invincible blocks like, oh, say, bedrock or something like that.
Yeah.
So let me put down a block to replace something with. Because remember, this thing likes to be set by... Okay, I got it set for grass block, so I held shift, and then I left-clicked it. Okay, I got it on replace area. Now I'm going to go into survival mode for a brief moment. So, okay, because I want to designate this way. Okay, so left click or attack click over there. Right click over. Okay.
The replace mode only has the single point.
Okay.
Then
So
you change the area size.
okay. So I have to kind of extend this way. Okay. Okay. That's extending my area size. Okay. Oh wait. I'll do this again here. Okay. Now it's working. It was just kind of invisibly changing the size for some reason. I
The
corrected it.
replace mode, it only does the same block type that you have the main position set to. So if you have it on this grass block, there is only one of the grass blocks, so you won't replace anything else.
Okay, just a moment. Let me set this
That's
for something
why-
I have plenty of. Because I only had one grass block. Okay, now have it already preset, and I'm going to do it with wood. So see, it takes as much as it can. And I can continue doing that a bit by extending outward.
You have to move the position because it's now in the
Okay, so
same
if it's
block.
already replaced, it won't extend again. You have to reset it that way. Okay, so I'll withdraw back a bit because I know I don't have that many blocks. Let's see how many it'll replace here.
Oh,
I had more in a stack. There should have been more.
I think there might be a bug with that one because it replaces the first point, then it stops because
Huh,
it's in
yeah.
the same material.
Because I definitely have, okay, I have a stack plus 46. So let's just take as
Actually,
much area as
try
this can.
to start it from this side, this corner. I
Okay,
think it might be directional because
okay, so you think it might be a directional issue, that it depends on the corner. So I'll take it this way. Okay, I'll try to extend this way. So, might have to do with the way I'm facing? Okay, let's... Huh, it didn't go that way. I had that area extended, but it didn't go that way.
yeah, I
Okay,
think it's broken because it replaces the first position too early. And it
could
doesn't
be.
seem
Okay,
to
now
remember
I've got
that.
it going this way, so remember that. And let's do this again. It's still only replaced from that direction.
Mm.
Huh. Experiencing... Okay, it's got a lot of these selected. Okay, let me do that way. I'm going to try to confine it a little just so that we can see which way it's going to actually replace. Okay, so now I got down to this small area here. It's from like here to that spot. Huh, it didn't even do that size.
That's strange because I'm pretty sure that has worked before.
I know, we were doing this before and it was working fine. Well, it's demonstrating what it was supposed to do. Okay, let's go back to doing it creative, even though that won't be like bringing back blocks, and see if
It
it's
seems to
working
work
better.
in creative mode.
Okay. Oops.
It does all of this area just fine.
Huh. Let's see. Huh. There we go. Okay, so something about the survival code seems to not be working, because that worked perfectly fine there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have usually only tested it in creative, so I guess I haven't noticed it before.
Again, this is why it's good to test in all sorts of different modes. The main things is do single and multiplayer, creative and survival, and then you pretty much got things covered. But sometimes stuff happens. Okay, so I'm gonna take this thing and I'm going to select gold block here. So block of gold. I'm going to do replace area. I'm going to extend this way, and note that it only does it between 2 at a time. So it'll be replacing this iron block with gold.
What?
Wait, I was in creative. What the? Okay, okay, now I'm going down for some reason, but... Huh, it's doing it as soon as I think it may have something to do with how it's doing the button press. Okay, because I'm trying to hold the button and then it cuts short.
Oh,
Okay, now I'm going to casually click it.
You're meant to only click once with this mode.
Okay, that works that way. Okay. So if you hold the button,
it cancel it if you hold it down or click it twice.
Okay, so you shouldn't hold the button, basically. Okay, so that's what was going wrong. So I was holding the button. Even in this mode, you don't need to do that as much as you did previously. Okay, so normally it would be harvesting these blocks and giving them back to you, kind of like a wand of equal trade from Thaumcraft, but even more so like a rather than shifting crust from Botania, which actually breaks the blocks and then gives them to you. So it's kind of that variation. There we go. Now it's almost complete. The single version is just that. It's just like one block at a time. So the replace is pretty much the same both ways. So now all the surface has been turned to gold. We have properly gilded this box.
Yep.
Okay, so that's what was going wrong. I was just holding the button when I should not have been holding the button. Because some of these have to charge up and some of them do not. So next mode.
Next mode is replace 3D, and that one is a little bit confusing to use because you have to bind two block types, and even I don't remember how to do that.
Now this one can get a little wonky. So it's best to do it at one plane at a time.
Okay, so you have the bind mode that you have to enable to be able to set the block to replace, so the target block in the wood.
Now is it shift?
So the
okay.
bind mode toggle is shift and toggle key.
Yeah, I just did that. Shift and toggle mode. So now it's bind mode.
So then you can sneak and right click to set the target block and sneak and left click to set the replacement block.
Okay, so sneak and left click one way, sneak and right click the other way. So let's say that I am going to say block of iron again, for sake of argument. Sneak and right click, block of iron, sneak and left click for... Okay, so target is block of iron and replacement is block of gold. So now I need to start...
I think you have to disable the bind mode and then you can select the area. And...
Okay, so I need to shift toggle again. There we go. So
then
now...
left and right click for the corners and then right click and hold for 2 seconds on air.
Okay, so...
Release.
Let's say I was going to do like a plane here. So let's say I clip off the top. I have that there. And let's say I right click over here. Okay, that should take an area and swap these between each other. Okay, so I have successfully exchanged some of the iron block for gold block. And again, this would like take blocks from your inventory normally, and if you were in survival, it would break these blocks and harvest them for you. So you'd be getting the iron back. But again, we're in creative this time, so yeah. So replace 3D requires a few extra steps, but then you can do a whole area. And note that because it binds to 2 different block types rather than just the area, it did not affect the sandstone over here at all. So it just replaced the iron with gold. So it can be very targeted. So this could be useful for literally extracting ore. It's going, I'm just taking all this iron ore block here and replacing it with, oh, say, cobblestone to fill it in.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with a build tool that is this powerful, because
well, it is an end tier.
You can't really prevent all of the exploits.
Well, kind of. By the time you've gone to the end and gotten as much stuff as you need for this wand, and the fact that it still takes power and all the actual blocks, it's not really as cheaty as you'd think, because at that point you've done quite a bit of stuff just to get hold of this thing and to actually do stuff with it.
But even so, you can basically select like a 150 block squared area and
yeah, it is the sheer area.
Replace all of the diamond ore with stone. And
it is the sheer area and number of things you can do with it that makes this thing just amazing. I mean, seriously, this makes the old school building wand from extra utilities look like a joke.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, I'm just gonna do everything with one wand. Oh gosh. Okay, so this has replaced 3D, basically. I'm going to shift mode to the next one, which is uh, kind of a bit different. This is whenever you're moving things with it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so the move mode has two separate modes to select areas or the
Yes.
positions. So you have the move from, where you select anything that you actually want to move. So for example,
Okay,
if I
going over
want
here.
to move this building and the energy bridge stuff.
Uh,
That is
a quick question. Would it normally be able to actually move the bedrock in survival? Because we're in creative,
no,
so that's what I was
I don't
thinking, that you would not move
I
an
don't even
unbreakable
remember
block.
if it does it in creative mode.
Oh, so you're saying that, okay, so what you're saying is basically if this works, it will take this building here, the energy bridge, but that one block of bedrock right there will just stand right where it is.
Yeah, I don't remember if it takes it in creative mode, but at least it doesn't take it in survival mode.
Okay, so no cheaty breaking bedrock in survival, which admittedly would be a
No.
bit much.
Now I'm going to the move to mode and setting that somewhere, let's say over here.
Yeah, so this is actually technically two modes. You have move from and move to. So when you select the area, that's very important.
So now I'm doing the move operation. I did take the bedrock in creative mode.
Okay, so it does work that way in creative. Again, not
Yeah.
how it's normally working. I need to kind of get back to that mode because I did it.
And actually, if I remember right, this is also different in survival mode. In survival, I think it builds the area one block at a time. Let's test that one.
Yeah, it kind of transfers between one area and the other.
Yeah, in creative mode, it does it basically using the same templates that the copy and paste mode use.
Yeah, so basically
If I
it's
remember right, in survival, it does it one block at a time.
okay, but basically in creative it just does the whole thing instantly. In
Yeah.
survival, it like actually takes a certain amount of time to actually deconstruct and reconstruct the area. But again, that's basically between two different modes, and then you engage the use button, and it takes it. May have to charge
So
for a little while.
I'm now in survival mode, so let's see what happens.
Okay, are you reversing it? Okay, this is the survival
Yeah,
version.
so it does it one block at a time.
Aha! We were right. It does not take the bedrock in survival because the bedrock block over here is still standing. So in survival, no cheaty bedrock moving. However, what's
also
really
seems to
funny
have
is this thing's half active. Look at this. In my
Yeah.
perspective, are you seeing this too?
Yeah, it seems to have broken it.
Okay. Well, that's an unexpected bug. It's like literally half working, like this block is actually working and the other stuff. Oh gosh. Okay, note, moving energy bridges may not work as intended.
That's quite interesting because this one is supposed to update itself.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now it's powered up because you've added the bedrock back. Okay. There's a few mods I know of that involve either breaking or creating bedrock on purpose, but admittedly they're kind of rare because even most modders agree that bedrock is pretty much a sacred thing that means do not do anything with this block.
Yeah.
But
Only vanilla players break bedrock.
yeah, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Even I've kind of done that once with a tree. It was hilariously easy back in, I think it was 1.8.
Yeah.
There's this way you could grow a giant tree and smash through the top of the nether. But at the
And
same
also,
time, it's kind of just so tempting to do that for one really big reason. There's nothing else up there. It's nice and calm and quiet. I mean, you just get on top of the bedrock, you can just build whatever you want. But so
yeah.
it's just so tempting. Of course, you can't
And it's
spam ender pearls
also
through it
useful
anymore.
for fast mob farms because if you remove the nether ceiling, you can get a low sub chunk mob farm, which is a lot faster
Oh yeah, definitely.
that way.
And of course, if you have some extra obsidian and some flint and steel, you can always make an extra portal so you can use it to just walk the way over a lot faster, because that way you won't have all that other stuff in your way that you're trying to get through to do the nether jump
Yeah.
properly. So it's really good for really rapid transportation, especially if you've got a rail system up there. And then it becomes, okay, go to the top of Bedrock, take your train, and then go to an area like 8 kilometers away.
Yeah.
So that's when things get ridiculous. Again, that's 2 different modes in one. You have to select the area with move from, and then the area move to, and then use it to get the whole thing to work. Again, does not move Bedrock and Survival. So that's those 2 modes, which are technically the same thing. Copy is it does it also in a template system.
Yeah. So copy and paste modes. It uses a very similar template than what the vanilla structure blocks use.
Okay, you got a big thing selected here, because this is from him testing his other mod, Autoverse, where it's all about automation and item flow logic. So this big piping construct here may involve some things from interutilities and Autoverse combined. And he's going to take this whole thing and copy it. Again, in survival, it's a little different, because in creative, it just copy paste the whole area. In survival, you'd actually have to have all the blocks involved, but it would still build it for you. That is a survival usable thing. It's just decently expensive to use in survival. So he's prepping this area now.
And also in survival mode, one big limitation is that it won't paste any of the tile entity data, because it would allow for item duplication.
Okay, well, it'll actually move the blocks that have tile data, but it won't have any of the data with them, so they'll just be blank.
Yeah.
So,
So
for example, these barrels, if they had anything in them, it would, and you had extra barrels, it would in fact place the barrels at the pasted area, but they would still be blank barrels, so there's no copying their contents. In creative mode, again, it just does everything, so yeah. Also, again, that's technically 2 modes that act as one, copy and paste, so this is how this one works.
I'm actually getting some items so that I could
Ah,
try
okay.
this in survival as well.
Okay,
But in this case, it will destroy all of the pipe connections, for example, because those use tile entity data.
okay, so it doesn't do the pipes themselves very well either because of the tile entity. Okay.
Yeah. What kind of blocks does it have?
Okay,
Filters,
let me see here. We have some of the pipe work. Have some item logic things here. Let me F3 this.
Breakers.
Okay, it's got splitters. Got autoverse pipes. Placers. Okay, here is a filter. Buffer. So one thing about F3 that kind of took on a certain Wayla-like property eventually, because the guy who does Wayla actually joined Mojang. Inventory reader.
Yeah.
So if you do that, you can see it, but it does it a little differently than Wayla. It only works on, here's a detector. It only works on blocks, does not work on entities, but it does it by showing the actual file name, is how it's designated in code. So however someone's named it is how it shows up. But it can help out if you don't have Wayla or it's not working well for something. And sometimes it's interesting which one actually wins in terms of accuracy. I think the vanilla version is actually better for accuracy overall.
Well, the vanilla one does show the actual block registry name and all the block state properties. So
yeah, exactly.
So that one is always accurate.
Yeah,
at least as far as the client has the data.
Yeah, it's reading directly from the file, so it should be. And here you got some breakers. Oh, you're going pretty far with this one.
Okay, so first I'm just going to paste it in creative mode, which should make a identical copy.
Okay. And this has preserved everything, so that means that all these things that have their connection data is preserved. So remember
For
that.
example, this FIFA buffer has all of the blocks in it.
Oh, it does it?
Same for this filter.
Okay,
So
okay, so it does have
have
some
all
stuff already in it. Okay.
So now if I'm pasting the same thing in survival mode,
And there's a command block here for some reason.
yeah, that's just for teleporting the player because I made the sort demonstration clip and that was just an easy way to orient
Oh, I'm in
myself.
the area. I'm getting out.
So now I'm pasting it in survival mode and we should get a very broken version of that because all the pipe connections will be broken as well.
Okay. Yeah, this is what it looks like whenever the pipes don't know how to connect right.
So all of the machines lost their orientation data, all the pipe connections and orientations are lost and all of the inventory contents are missing and so on.
And to demonstrate that, remember this buffer over here? It has nothing. But it's still got the block over here. But it's really weird looking at all the pipes that don't actually connect.
Yeah.
This
Actually,
reminds me,
I
got a
think
wrench?
these pipes are actually partially updated because when they receive neighbor update, they will update themselves. So depending on the order that it places the blocks, the pipes get partially updated. So,
Okay, okay, so as soon as they update, they'll reconnect whatever side they are aimed at already. And we're going, okay, that's right, I was supposed to connect here.
but some of the pipes, for example, the round dropping pipes, they also have the output mode set, so that one will be lost completely because you have to manually set it.
Okay, so anything that they've got set in their information special, like anything you're filtering, will also be blanked, and you'll have to reset it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough for seeing how you're copying a whole build. But if you're doing it for like less complicated things, that would obviously make things a lot easier. It's just this is kind of what happens whenever the system is really strained. So yeah.
I mean, there would be a way to basically whitelist some data from tile entities, but it would pretty much have to be like manually configured for each of the block types.
Okay, I could see
So
connection
that would be
data
a lot of
definitely.
work to update the whitelist so
Well,
that data can be copied.
yeah, I could certainly see pipe connection data being one of those things that's preserved because, yeah, this makes your mechanisms so much easier to put back together if you just could connect the pipes. So, yeah. So, but this is what happens whenever you try taking it all, and not all of it is technically fully compatible. So, that's the thing. Okay, so I'm settling back, and okay, you're on next mode. Stack.
So stack mode is basically the word edit stack mode or stack command, whatever it's called. So
Okay.
it basically creates copies of the area.
Yeah, and they're spaced out a little bit each, so that it literally looks like you're stacking something on top of something, or next to something.
It's basically stacked out or spaced out as much as you select empty space into the area.
Yeah. So it allows you to create a repeated structure over and over, basically. Like,
Yeah.
say if you wanted to have stacks of, say slabs spaced out just a little bit apart to make kind of like a bit of a parkour structure there, you could totally do that. Or if you wanted to simply create large cubes made out of wood, then yeah. So he's
The
powering
way
up the
this
stack mode.
mode works is that you again left click and right click to select the corners, and then you use Alt and Shift and scroll to change basically the copied area size or the grid size.
Okay, I will pop over here. Okay. Okay, pull that together. Okay, it's tightening that. Okay, I've got this set up kind of as a set of lines. Do I have anything to actually line it with? That's a good question. What happens if I hold this button? Nothing! It doesn't have anything else selected. There we go. Oh, I didn't have move set. Oh, I didn't have move on this one. Here's the spacer. You can kind of see where that's moving in. Okay, you go that way. Okay, let's put this here. Can't go anywhere. Squeeze that out a little. No. Okay, I think I need something right there. Okay, so I got that selected there. Aha! Okay, so it's got it spaced out by that being the gap. That's the block targeted. Then we got the repeats. So what if I aim? Nope, I want to go that way. Okay, array. Oh, I accidentally selected the other block. Okay, this one might be a little trickier to work with for me than I thought. This one takes a little practice. That worked. Oh, nice one. And this reminds me, because this involves course, have you thought of anything you might want to do involving course in general? Like maybe some new course-based foods or something? Or things that require a purple block as part of its construction?
Well, I don't have anything planned at the moment.
Oh, one thing I was thinking of earlier was whether or not to have chorus fruit being able to be tapped for ender charge.
Maybe.
Yeah, because it's an ender item that does contain a certain amount of ender energy. I mean, it randomly teleports you, so I was wondering if you could use that to get fuel for the ender infuser.
Yeah, that's one idea.
Okay, because I've thought of that one for a while. I've been wondering about it ever since 1.9. I'm going, this would be very well themed if it were something you could juice for juice. Yeah, that's pretty much what you'd be doing. Oh wow. Yeah, this is impressive. Okay, so you got these little things here. Can I actually jump between? Okay, it's spaced just enough for me to jump into it. So you got these little stone bricks with a bit of smooth stone. You got some end rods. These nice little array of little, kind of little pod-like things, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so I just built one of them and then copied it over.
Yeah. Just getting it to array seems to be something that takes a little practice. So note, this particular mode might be taking a little bit of skill to use. How to make a proper array with stack mode. You know, admittedly the name is just slightly misleading because it's more like array mode than stack mode.
Yeah, I guess the difference from word edit is that this does in 3 dimensions.
Okay.
I think the word edit stack mode only does it in like one direction.
Okay, so you're kind of stacking it one direction at a time. Okay, so let me see. I'll try taking the same thing here. Whoa, that's totally not. You contract there. Ooh. Well, can I just do it this way? Yeah, this one might be a little trickier than first thought. I keep having technical difficulties with using this mode. It's just not quite clicking with me. Okay,
Well,
I'll try it with
initial
something.
selection is just left click and right click and then nudge as needed.
Yeah, that part helps. Let me see here. How about I do something simple? I'll take a small array of iron block. Mark it with a plank. Okay. Okay. So gold and that. Okay, so whenever I do this, it should. Hmm.
You only had the bottom layer selected.
Okay. Okay, now I'm seeing where the lines are showing with that. So let's try this again. I'll put a blank here. I'll okay. Okay, I can see where that's doing those lines.
So you want to move the second corner up because it's only one layer still.
Okay, okay, so I need to put this one up a little higher. Need another block to use as a reference point. Okay, that should take the whole thing. Okay. Okay, that should work now. There we go. So that makes an array of them. So that worked. It just takes a little tweaking and practice to get this one right. This mode is more complicated than first advertised.
You just have to look at basically the green
Okay.
box. So
Okay, so basically you have to pay a lot of attention to this little area here.
Anything inside the green box will be copied over and it will be put right next to the green area. So if you want to space it out, you have to leave empty space inside the green box.
Okay, okay, so anything that's And this area is copied to the other arrays, and it goes from there. So you got to leave the space within it first to get a space between things.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're also copying the space. Okay, that helps. Either
So
way.
basically all of the boxes will become identical with the green box.
Okay, got that now. Okay, so I guess that means it's probably time for the last mode, which you've seen more than once. It's delete.
Yeah.
Again, this is a creative only thing, and it's basically how to do cleanup very, very fast. So let me just hold the button, and so that takes care of that. Okay, extend the usual way of holding shift and using scroll wheel. Didn't quite get those last few, but that's okay. Nah, I don't need it that way. I need it the other way. I need a pin on your face. And you can use the right click to define an area specifically. Okay, so that takes care of those. So there goes some of the arrays that went back and forth. Oh, big one. Big one. She's prepping a big one. Yep, gone.
And one thing to note about the delete mode is that it should not drop any of the inventory contents either. So if I put a chest in here and put some stuff in the chest, they should not pop out when you delete it.
I'll put a few things in too, just to dispose of a few extras that kind of been accumulated. Oh wait, I'll need these seeds. Because we're gonna, oh, and I'll need more bones, because we're gonna try doing that other thing at the end. Okay, so this stuff we can get rid of. Okay, goodbye, extra. Yeah, that takes care of things in one convenient package. So, yeah, do we want to do the improved attempt at pet contract?
Yeah.
Okay, now previously, well, these aren't really that hard to make. It's just an ender-infused stick, an ink sac, and paper. Their purpose is to allow you to basically transfer ownership of a pet from one player to another. It's kind of just the last thing that you were working on, so we were trying to get this to work out. And he needed to test in multiplayer, and whenever we did it before, we found out an interesting bug with how it works. Apparently, if you're using exactly one contract at a time, it kind of didn't work right. But whenever you have a full stack, whether or not you were in survival or not, it would usually work. Now what you do is you click on the pet that you want to transfer ownership of, and then you toss it to the other player. So he's already clicked on these particular parrots. So I'm going to take these, and these are considered signed now, kind of like signing a book. You gotta do it with the right one, too. Okay. Okay, so now these two have been transferred, and this is the wolf. So now these are mine. Now over there I have a couple of parrots for him. So I just need to take a couple of these blank contracts And he has fixed the thing. Now it works perfectly. So now regardless of whether it's 1 or 2, there we go. So now here's your pet contracts for these parrots.
Wrong one. This one works.
There we go. So now we've swapped pets, basically.
Yep.
So just kind of a fun miscellaneous extra idea you had, because how many times have you wanted to specifically just give somebody your wolf to borrow for a little while? Go, hey,
Actually, someone on Reddit was asking for an item like this. So
Ah, okay, so this was a Reddit extra. Okay, nice.
yeah.
And with that, I think we've done pretty much everything up to this point until he does something new. So yeah. So right now you're mainly
Yeah.
just doing like bug fixes and porting and everything, right?
Yeah, not much going on with any utilities at the moment.
Well, one big thing that's definitely coming up is the update aquatic, and there's a few new things that I can kind of see would probably interact with it. Like, for example, if you took water, would you also take the fish with it? Because there's bucketing fish now. That's actually a new thing.
Yeah. Well,
So
the one does you work with entities.
yeah, I
Only
know.
in creative mode.
I know. You can totally do it with the Ender Lasso, but I'm just saying, and for that matter, with the Living Matter Manipulator. But it's just kind of a fun thought of what would happen if you Ender bucketed a fish.
Oh yeah, the ender bucket.
Yeah.
I probably won't add to that one because it would just get confusing.
Yeah, it would be a little redundant since you've got other things that work with entities anyhow. I'm just saying that was kind of a funny idea.
Yeah.
There's bucketing a fish, and then there's Ender bucketing a fish. Which leads to a very confused fish. Okay, that should be everything. Oh wait, that reminds me. Have you thought of have you checked out the new tridents recently?
Not yet.
Okay, they're pretty cool. I don't know if you'd want to do an Ender version of them or not, but they're pretty neat. You can like
Okay.
throw them, and they have like different enchantments that work specifically for them, so they're pretty cool. I really
Yeah.
like them. Then there's the conduit, but I don't see how that would tie in specifically, because it's mainly kind of like an alternate beacon thing. Only it's
Yeah.
meant for working underwater.
I haven't actually checked out the conduit at all yet.
Oh yeah, well, totally need to. Again, this is why I've been pondering why there should be like maybe a server for vanilla stuff that modders get onto just to check out the newest stuff. It's going, hey, okay,
Yeah.
this is cool. There was one thing I was kind of thinking of. There has been another mod that has created a kind of an Omni locator map, and I'm wondering if that would also be recreatable in your utilities, because basically it's kind of like recreates the ability of a exploration map to locate a particular structure or place. Only you kind of choose which one, and then it locates it, but you can only like do it for like one thing at a time. Like for that one map, that's basically its only purpose from then on. So if you find that, like if you say dungeon, it'll show you the nearest dungeon. If you say mansion, it'll locate that. If you say temple, it'll kind of wind up being between jungle temple, desert temple, and witch hut because they use the same code. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That would be kind of like an interesting thing you can do now after 1.11 since they added that function of locating stuff. So that would be interesting if there was like an inter-utilities version. But yeah, the contract
I'm not
works
really
now.
sure what it would do different. Should the same map show all of the structures or what?
And that would be
I mean,
cool too. I was just thinking maybe it could change, like it would be almost like a compass for them, but not exactly, only be like a map, like it changes between the map going, okay, I want my thing over here. But yeah, if it did locate all like vanilla structures in the area, it'd be like a super treasure map, kind of like Twilight Forest style. That would be really cool because Twilight Forest kind of started that with like it would show you where the Naga was, where the Twilight Lich was, and other things along the way, and that's kind of how you progress through the mod is you use the map to locate everything. And you're going, okay, I need to run over here. Only this would be for like just general structures and listing things in vanilla. Anyway, I think that's a pretty cool idea. But it's getting a bit long here, so kind of we need to head off and maybe come back for another thing another time.
Yeah.
Like Autoverse, showing off that might be an interesting idea at some point.
Yeah.
Getting pretty heavy on automation and stuff, so if you want to have an item sorter, that's totally the way to go. But for now, this has been Glitch Reaper and Masa here. I guess we'll be signing off, so I hope to hear from y'all later, everybody. So bye for now.
Bye bye.
Okay.